Hey guys, Django Fett here, and today's a special day because I finally got the Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind t-shirt.
It's showtime.
What's up guys, Django Fett here, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more, back with another Studio Ghibli film review for you guys, and it is Howl's Moving Castle. This film came out in 2004 in Japan and later dubbed in 2006. Written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki and based on the novel of the same name, Howl's Moving Castle, written by Diana Wayne Jones, which came out in I think it was late 1986. And the dubbing includes Emily Mortimer, who was played as the young Sophie, Gene Simmons as old Sophie, Christian Bale, who was just the biggest one right there, as played as Howl, Lauren Bacall, who sadly passed away, Billy Crystal, who was played as Calcifer, Josh Hutcherson, and many others. Now, this movie was, obviously in theaters just recently, and so I just went out to see it, came back from the theaters, and now I need to talk about it. So, Howl's Moving Castle is a very interesting movie to talk about. It came out after the success of Spirited Away, and it was the next big movie from Studio Ghibli everyone was craving after Spirited Away. Now, the story is set in a fictional kingdom where both magic and early 20th century technology are prevalent, against the backdrop of a war with another kingdom. The film tells the story of a young hatter named Sophie after she is turned into an old woman by a witch's curse. She encounters a wizard named Howl and gets caught up in a resistance to fighting for the king. When I saw this movie in theaters, the animation was just, once again, another Studio Ghibli film does it. The animation is just beautiful to behold. The beautiful vistas, the scenery, as well as the characters, the way they're modeled, as well as, what really stood out to me was the castle itself, Howl's Moving Castle. I just loved the drawn out style, and it was definitely, very noticeable compared to everything else in the, the whole landscape. I just thought that really stood out to me, the way it was hand drawn and animated as well when it was moving. That really stood out to me the most out of everything. After seeing it, I love it even more. It's an absolute beautiful movie from beginning to end, telling the tale of Sophie as she encounters Howl, and they go on this adventure together, and they meet with other people as well, but it's mainly Sophie and Howl. Those are the two main protagonists right there. And the movie deals with many incredible themes. It first starts off with the celebration of war, and it displays all these armies as they're going off to war, and then towards the end you see the ugly side, and you see the destruction and full-on nastiness when it comes to war, the atrocities when it comes to it. It doesn't show it graphically, thankfully, because it's it's an animated, kid-friendly film, but it shows that ugly side that makes you just really scared. So when this movie came out, it came out during, the Iraq War, 2003. And actually, I'm reading this right now. It contains strong anti-war themes influenced by Miyazaki's distaste for the 2003 Iraq War. And while he received an Oscar for Spirited Away, he said that he had a great deal of rage about the war. So he felt some hesitation about the award, and he identifies as a pacifist. I'm actually one of the few that's actually with Miyazaki myself. During that time of 2003, I was totally against the war. Everybody was for it. Everybody wanted Bush because he was a strong leader and all of this, because of all of the nastiness that came out from 2001. Honestly, I was against the wars that were going on in the Middle East from the beginning. And so I understand totally from Miyazaki, and him displaying it during that time and receiving kind of that backlash at the same time. It's got to be tough. One of the biggest things that comes from Miyazaki films, if you've noticed, is flying. Including The Wind Rises, which is the last of Hayao Miyazaki's film. Big theme right there is flight. The idea of men flying, which back in that time is something that men have dreamed about for years, and they still dream about to this day. Yeah, we have airplanes and all, but the idea of flying, of being up, you know, embracing the sky and seeing down below. It's a powerful feeling. I haven't witnessed it myself. I've always wanted to do it myself without, you know, the planes and stuff, but, you know, I'm a little scared at the same time, but, you know what I'm saying. You know, the theme of flight. That seems to be a prevalent theme. Nausicaa, even Spirited Away, and including this film, Howl's Moving Castle, and especially the last film, The Wind Rises. Themes of flight. And I just love seeing that society, you know, the pre-World War I society in motion, and with like these different like weird machines that are coming along, steam machines, and I thought it was just really nice to behold and look at, especially when it comes to the beginning when they show all of that. I was just like, I was captivated. And also demonstrates old age, because Sophie actually you know, turns into like a grandma, and compassion towards one another, and Sophie was just compassionate from the start. When the witch suffered herself, she actually cared for that witch despite all of the grievances that were against her, you know. Just showing that strong compassion with Sophie, who was an excellent and strong female lead in this movie. I thought it was just captivating. She was cast with this spell that made her old, but over time, you saw that she was starting to become young again at the same time. You saw that with her, like, her face and stuff. Her ponytail was getting longer. And it was really interesting to see, because I think that's... many people will decipher it some way, like, how did she become young again? I think it's mainly from her showing compassion, believing in herself, and... you know, strongly believing in love. That's just a short way to put it. I'm sure there's like a long, like 10-page essay out there that describes why she turned young and then old and how that came to be. And of course, it's done by Joe Hisaishi, who, you know, composed this as much as, you know, every other Studio Ghibli film. And the music was also as captivating, but I won't say it was like pushed the boundary for me like Spirited Away or Nausicaa, in my opinion. It's still pretty excellent, but I will say that's one critique I had. There was a couple of things as well. I think they mentioned there was one little kid in the movie as well. They didn't really explain him, basically how took care of him or something like that. I don't know. They didn't really properly explain that at all in the movie. That was the one thing I think I had a problem with. Everything else, the rest of the characters, I think they did a good job. There seemed to be, in the beginning, there was this strong conflict that's going on with these two nations, and I think they didn't probably convey that as well. I also did think that one music choice was kind of off-putting towards the end of the movie. It didn't match up with the rest of the music that was going along. That's one little gripe I had. And then they had one character, Scarecrow, you know, with the finale with him revealing who he was, and it's kind of a strange twist, but it was okay. This movie is a masterpiece. It's a beautiful, heartwarming movie that you gotta see. It's an instant Studio Ghibli classic that I love, and it's got like a romantic theme as well, which I'm really big into now, and just the power of love, man. Ah, man. It's got a beautiful ending too. Beautiful ending. And it's just like, oh, the feels, man. The feels. So many more themes that I could discuss and go on and on about this film, but I do recommend you check out the wiki page. It does explain quite a bit, surprisingly. Comparisons between film and novel, and the themes. I do recommend you check that out. I'll put a link in the description below. And the next movie I will actually be watching is Princess Mononoke, which is coming out in January. So I'm pretty excited for that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel, Django Fett. And I'll see you, my fellow Mandalorian brothers and sisters, next time. Ooh, yeah!